Good morning, students. Class 12th, Chapter 6, Lecture number 13 homework and Lecture number 14. So in Lecture 13 homework, you were given question 1 to 10 of exercise miscellaneous of chapter number 6. So let us just discuss one or two questions out of those 10 questions. Then we are going to start with our classwork. So here comes your miscellaneous exercise, question number 2. As you can see, it is asked, show that the function given by f of x equals log x upon x has a maximum at x equals e. That means we have to prove that the function will have its maximum value at x equals e. Or in other words, I can say we have to prove x equals e is a point of maxima. Right? When it will be a point of maxima? When the second order derivative of this function comes out to be less than 0 at x equals e. Right? Let us calculate it. First of all, we'll write f of x is equal to log x upon x. We will differentiate it using the quotient rule. We will get f dash x equals, to remind you the quotient rule, I am writing the formula here. If we have d by dx of u upon v, we differentiate it like this, square of v, then v as it is differentiation of u, minus u as it is differentiation of v. So let us apply it here. X square will come in the denominator, then v, which is x as it is, differentiation of log x is 1 upon x, minus log x as it is, differentiation of x is 1. So what we get actually, just to see, we get 1 minus log x upon x square. Now we can put it as equal to 0 to find out the critical point. Putting it as equal to 0, 1 upon log x will be equal to 0. Now we get log x as equal to 1. And it is possible that the value of log of x comes as 1 when x is equal to e, because here it is natural log, that means the base is e. So log base e to e. When base, suppose I write the identity, we should have like this. When base and the value whose log is to be calculated, then it becomes 1. So this is our critical point now. We have calculated x equals e, but we have to prove this as the point of maximum. So we have to again differentiate the first order derivative to obtain the second order derivative. Let us just do that. First order derivative is 1 minus log x upon x square. Let us differentiate again. Second order derivative, again using the quotient rule. Square of x square will be x to the power 4. Then here x square will be as it is, differentiation of 1 minus log x is minus 1 upon x, minus 1 minus log x as it is, differentiation of x square is 2x. Now just see, we will cancel 1x here, we will get minus x minus 2x plus 2x log x divided by x to the power 4. So now taking minus common, we have minus x, it will be 1 plus 2 minus 2 log x divided by x to the power 4, and we have taken x common. So this will get cancelled up. So what we have now actually, minus of 3 minus 2 log x divided by x cube. So we will put instead of x as e. So we get minus 3 minus 2 log e divided by x cube or e cube, correct? Or we can say it as minus 3 minus log of e square divided by e cube. Now this is all going to be positive, right? And because of this negative sign, this will be negative, so it will be less than 0. Also you can say it is again log e, right? Here it is e. If here it is e, because it is a natural log, it will become 1. So we just have 3 minus 2. So in more simplified way, we can write it minus 3 minus 2 divided by cube of e, which is minus 1 upon e cube, and it is less than 0. Hence we say at x equals e, at this point the second order derivative is coming as less than 0. That means it is maximum at what value? At x equals e. This is what we had to prove. Clear? Now we will discuss another question from your homework part. In question number 5, we have to show that the normal at any point theta to the curve. That means on a curve we have drawn normal at any point theta. So the points on which the curve is drawn are given in terms of theta, that is x and y are given in terms of theta. Is at a constant distance from the origin. So we have to prove the distance of normal. What is to be proved? That I am writing that distance of normal from which origin, that means from the point 0, 0 is a constant. Clear? It should not include theta, x, y, whatever. It should have some constant in the answer. Right? So before calculating the distance of something from a point, we should have equation of it. To find the equation, we'll find the equation of normal. Equation of normal is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1, where suppose m is the slope of normal. To find that, first of all we need to calculate dy by dx. So we'll first calculate x equals a cos theta plus a theta sin theta. So we will calculate first dx by d theta. Differentiating it with respect to theta, we get a as it is. Differentiation of cos theta is minus sin theta plus, now you just see here this one, theta and sin theta, there are two functions. So we'll use product rule. If we use that, taking a as it is, theta, differentiation of sin theta is cos theta plus, then sin theta as it is, differentiation of theta is 1 minus a sin theta plus a theta cos theta plus a sin theta. Just see, these two are cancelled and we are getting what? A theta cos theta. So let us name it as equation number 1. Now our purpose is to calculate dy by d theta. So we'll solve it here itself, dy by d theta. We'll differentiate y with respect to theta. See what we get. A sin theta, differentiation of this will be what? A sin theta, it will be cos theta. Then minus, in bracket what we will have is the product rule in theta and cos theta. So let us write it in a different line so that it comes up. A cos theta minus a as it is. Theta as it is, differentiation of sin theta, cos theta is minus sin theta. Then plus, right? Cos theta as it is, differentiation of theta is 1. We are getting a cos theta minus a theta sin theta. Now see, minus and minus, here it will get plus, and minus a cos theta. So you see, minus a cos theta and plus a cos theta will get cancelled. We are left with a theta sin theta, naming it as second equation. Now to find out dy by dx, we will put dy by d theta first in the numerator, divided by dx by d theta in the denominator. What is dy by dx that we are getting? Just pay attention. It is d theta sin theta. So I am putting theta sin theta. A theta sin theta we are left with. You can just again confirm. We are getting a theta sin theta. And in the second, dx by d theta is a theta cos theta. Let us put that here. A theta cos theta. Cancelling the terms, we are left with sin theta upon cos theta, which is tan theta. So this is slope of tangent. I am mentioning here slope of tangent. Slope of normal will be minus 1 upon dy by dx, right? What is the value of dy by dx? Tan theta. So what is the answer for the slope that we have? It is minus cot theta. Clear? Now the points are given in the question. We have been given x1 and y1, the points that are given x and y in terms of theta, and we have got the slope also, and equation is y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. So let us put the value of y1, x1 and the slope, which is minus cos theta, in this equation and obtain first the equation of normal. For doing that, we will write y minus, just see what is y1, a sin theta minus a theta cos theta. Let us put it, a sin theta minus a theta cos theta. Let us just confirm the value. Just see, we have a sin theta minus a theta cos theta, that's what we have placed here, is equal to minus of cot theta multiplied with x minus x1. What is x1 here? As you can see, a cos theta plus a theta sin theta. Let us put that, a cos theta plus a theta sin theta. This is what we have to place. Okay, now we will solve it. Let us open the braces first. So we have y minus a sin theta plus a theta cos theta equals minus cot theta can be written as minus of cos theta divided by sin theta, and in bracket we have x minus a cos theta minus a theta sin theta. This is what we have, right? What I have just done, I have converted cot theta into cos and sin, and here using this minus sign I have made this sign plus, and here using the minus sign I have made this plus as a negative sign. Let us just solve it now. We will multiply both the side of the equation with sin theta. See, we get sin theta y minus a sin square theta plus a theta cos theta sin theta. We have multiplied it with sin, and when we multiply it with sin, sin and sin will get cancelled. We will get minus x cos theta, then we will have minus and minus will be plus a cos square theta, and then minus and minus will again be plus a theta sin theta cos theta. This term and this term are both positive and lying on left hand side and right hand side will get cancelled up. Let us shift other terms here. So we have sin theta y, and bringing this here, so let me write these two terms which are we left with on this side, then plus x cos theta minus a cos square theta, right, and it is equal to 0. I say everything has been shifted on that side. Now just see, x cos theta plus y sin theta. If we take minus a common out of this and this term, we are left with sin square theta plus cos square theta inside the bracket, which is equal to 1 only. Correct? So we have x cos theta plus y sin theta minus a equals 0. This is our equation of normal. Right? Now just to see, from point 0, 0, we have to find the distance of what? X cos theta plus y sin theta minus a equals 0. Let us just match our equation. X cos theta plus y sin theta minus a. Right, so this is our equation. We have to find the distance of this from this. So just to see, what is the distance formula? It is ax1 plus by1 plus c divided by square root of a square plus b square. Let us just put it here. So x1 and y1 this time are 0. x1 and y1 are the point from which we have to find the distance. So a is cos theta, the coefficient of x, so it will be 0. Y sin theta into 0 will also be 0 plus c, that means minus a divided by a and b are coefficient of x and y, cos square theta plus sin square theta, that will be 1. So solving it, you get it as equal to a. So you see, distance is what? A constant value a. A here is a constant, right? So we have proved that the distance of normal from the origin, which is 0, 0, is a constant value, which is a. Clear? This is what we had to prove in question number 5. I hope you understand the question. So I'm just again repeating the question what we have done. We had to show that the normal at any point to the curve x and y, these are the two coordinates given, is a constant, is at a constant distance from the origin. So we had to prove that normal, which is of some curve and lying at this point, is having a constant distance from the origin. Like that means if we calculate the distance, it is going to give us a constant value, and we are getting at last the distance is equal to a, which is a constant number. Fine. So I hope you understood question number 5, and we are going to start with the next question, question number 8, of which I gave the hint yesterday. So I hope you were able to solve it. Those who did not get it just can concentrate here. We have to find the maximum area of the isosceles triangle, and that isosceles triangle is into the ellipse. Suppose this is our ellipse, right? In it there is an isosceles triangle and with its vertex at one end of the major axis. So let us just draw the axis first, x-axis and y-axis, right? So let us name it that this is our x, this is y, this will be your x dash, this is origin, and this is y dash. So just to see this point on major axis, it is on a x, right? And below it is a square, so a comma 0, and this point is minus a comma 0. So we have to take one vertex of the triangle either at this point, I can name it as a, I can name this as a dash suppose. So either on a or a dash, because the triangle vertex is at one end of the major axis. Clear? Now after it, just to see, I have to make one isosceles triangle. Suppose I take this as the vertex. So if I take this as the vertex, suppose this is where I am trying to draw the triangle. So I have to take the vertex at like this. This one will be one of the vertex. Clear? And naming the point, suppose this is h comma k. I am not taking x and y because in x and y we already have an equation. It will create a confusion. In this one, here minus h and minus k will come. Here minus of h and plus k, because y-axis is positive here. This point if I consider, this will be h minus h comma 0. Y-axis is 0 on x-axis. Let us name them a, b, c, and this point is d. Find. Now what will be the area? If you see, area will be 1 upon 2 half base into height, base into height. Now just see, half into base. This BC is the base. If we see the total length, you just see this is k length and this is also k length. This negative sign just shows it is lying in this quadrant, that's why. Otherwise, because base and height, we are concerned for what? The magnitude. So we are going to ignore the negative sign. So we just have k plus k as 2k length as the base into height. Height is what? This AD. Okay, so from 0 to point A, it is A, and this h distance is added into it. So A plus h is the height if we see, right? 2 and 2 getting cancelled. So actually area A is k multiplied with A plus h. Name it as first equation. This area maximum value we have to calculate. So before that we should have a point of maxima at which area will be maximum, because this is our assumption that triangle will be like this. Triangle can be anywhere on this ellipse. So our purpose is to calculate that point. That means our purpose is to calculate h comma k, right? So we can calculate the second point also, and this one is fixed at one of the end of major axis, which is a comma 0 or minus a comma 0. So let us just try to find out h and k. So just to see, h and k are lying, these points are lying on this curve. They will satisfy the equation of curve. So what we can write is, so we can write h square upon a square plus k square upon b square is equal to 1. Let us find the value of k from here. Why I am finding the value of k? Just see, we have k multiplied with a plus h as the formula of area. So it will definitely, whether you calculate value of k or h, it will have square root. So squaring that k will help us do it more easily than h, because here a plus b whole square come, and if you square also, then also square root will be left. So just to find out k square from here, we'll have 1 minus h square upon a square. H square upon a square into b square. So we have k square as equal to b square upon a square into a square minus h square. This is the value of k square. Fine. If I take the square root, it will be coming under root a square minus h square. So to avoid that, I'll square the area. Squaring it and replacing it with z, we get k square into a plus h whole square. Clear? So what is a square now? Putting the value of k square, b square upon a square multiplied with a square minus h square into a plus h whole square. You see there are two functions, u and v. Using the product rule, we'll differentiate it, we'll represent it with z. So what is dz by dh? Because a is the constant, the equation is in terms of, or the expression is in terms of h. So just see, b square upon a square as it is. First function I am keeping as it is, a square minus h square. Okay, differentiation of a plus h whole square will be 2 into a plus h, and a plus h it will be 1, plus a plus h square as it is. Differentiation of a square minus h square is minus 2h. Clear? This will be there. Now b square upon a square. Now if I convert this into a plus h and a minus h, so I can just write a minus h into a plus h whole square, correct? So what is common now in this? 2 is common, a plus h whole square is common. What we are left inside the bracket here? We are left with a plus h and here minus of. So we will be left with a minus h, right? Now just to see what we get. We get it as dz by dh equals b square upon a square into 2 into a plus h whole square and a minus 2h. Clear? So equating it to 0 now, either we have a as equal to minus h, or I say h as equal to minus a, or h is equal to a divided by 2. These are the two values. Now what is k square equal to? It is b square upon a square into a square minus h square. Now if we put that h is equal to minus a, so k will be 0, and k can't be 0 because just see, we have assumed k as here, it is y-axis, some value will be there for it definitely. So we will have the vertex can't be on h comma 0, right? 1 is already there. If you take that, that will lie on a single line and triangle will not be formed. K can't have a value 0. So this value is rejected. So we have h value as a divided by 2. Now I am telling you what to do is, this is the first order derivative value. We are going to equate this first order derivative, okay, to 0, and we got this value. So now you will find out the first order derivative. Now you will find out the second order derivative for this. If you find the second order derivative, definitely it is going to come as less than 0 or negative, correct? And at that time you prove that at this value, this is the point of maxima for area. And how will you find out the area? I am not finding out the second order derivative. It was your classwork question, already been given a hint. So you are just going to see this. Okay, and you are going to definitely get it as less than 0. You are going to get a negative value. Now area is half into base into height, which we calculated as k multiplied with a plus h. And h value, you know, we have got it as minus a upon 2. You have to put this value, okay, and using this formula, k square equals to b square upon a square into a square minus h square, right? You will put the value of k. From here calculate k and then put it here. So you are going to get some value of a. The maximum area you have to calculate, because it was mentioned in the question that you have to find the maximum area of the isosceles triangle. So first we found out the point at which it will be maximum, and then we have found out the maximum area also. Clear? Let us discuss another question now. Question number 9. As you have read carefully, it was also a classwork question, just to see carefully. So in this question, what is given? A tank with a rectangular base and rectangular sides, right? Open at the top is to be constructed so that means height is given as 2 meter, volume is given as 8 cubic meter. Okay, and if the building of tank costs rupees 70 per square meter for the base. So for the base, suppose if we draw it, let us just have a rough idea in mind. So this is the base. Okay, so it will have length and it will have breadth. Fine. So and height is already given as 2. So this is the base. So base area will be 10b. And what is the cost of it? Rupees 70 per square meter. So if you multiply the area with 70, you will get the total cost for the base. And rupees 25 per square meter for sides. So for sides, you have 4 walls, right? What is the area of 4 walls? So you can just see the opposite faces. Here it will be 2 times BH, right? And 2 times LH, that is 2 times of, if you take H common, you have L plus B into H. This will be the area of 4 walls. You are going to multiply it with 45. It will give you what? The total cost for all the 4 walls. You will add these two. You will find the total cost. That is to be minimized. We have to find the least expensive cost. Right. Now volume is what? Length, breadth, height equals 8. H is already given as 2. So LB is equal to 8 upon 2. So we have LB value as equal to already 4. Correct. So you can put it 4 here. 4 into 70 will get 280. So 280 plus 2 into length plus breadth. Height value is already given as 2. So it will be 4 multiplied with 45. Now you will have the cost function as a function of L and B both. From here just calculate any value either of L or B in terms of each other. Put that here and differentiate this cost function with respect to either L or B. Correct? And then you can definitely find out the least cost. You know the procedure. Second order derivative is to be proved as greater than 0. Clear? So this is what you are going to do. Now I am going to give you hints of some questions, like question number 10. This was classwork question. The sum of perimeter of circle and square is k, where k is the constant. Sum of perimeter of circle is 2 pi r plus square is 4x. Right? It is equal to, this is what the given thing. Right? This is you have to use. Sum of their areas is least. Sum of their areas, that means if I write the total area AT, so pi r square plus x square. This is least, that means minimum when the side of square is doubled. Side of square is x, double the radius of the circle. This is, at this point we have to prove this as minimum. Clear? Now let us discuss some of the question that you have to do today. Suppose this is a question number 11. It is a window in the form of rectangle. So let me form a rectangle. So suppose this is the window in the form of rectangle. And then they are saying surmounted by a semicircular opening. So we have a semicircle at the top of it. Right. So I am just drawing it roughly. The total perimeter of the window is 10. What will be the total perimeter? This circumference, right, which is pi r. Or if suppose you consider this as x, this will be x and this will be y. Don't consider this line, this black line that I am highlighting, right, in the perimeter. Perimeter is the boundary. So what will be the perimeter now? Pi r plus 2x plus y. This is the perimeter and this is given equal to 10. Clear? Now what are they saying? Okay, one more thing. If it is with the semicircular opening, if this is y, this is the diameter. Right? So radius will be y upon 2. So you just can place it here. So you will have the equation in terms of x and y only. Now you have to find the dimensions of the window. You have to find x, y and r, all three, to admit maximum light through hole opening. So for maximum light entering into this area, the area of this portion should be maximum. So what you have to do is prove the area maximum. Area of the semicircle, which is 1 upon 2 pi r square, plus area of this, which is xy. So you can actually get this into one variable only and can find out the solution. Clear? So try it out at your home. Next question number 13. Find the point at which this function has local maxima, local minima, point of inflection. Already you have done many questions based on the same concept. You will be finding out first order derivative. You will put it as equal to 0. You're going to definitely obtain your critical points, and then in the second order derivative you have to check whether it is greater than 0, it is less than 0 or equal to 0. Where your second order derivative comes greater than 0, that will be a point of local minima. Where it comes as less than 0, it is local maxima, and where you get it as equal to 0, that will be the point of inflection. Or another first order derivative. Using the first order derivative test was, suppose you get C1. So before that and after that you are going to put a value and check the sign of f dash x. If it is coming from positive to negative, this point will be the point of maxima. If it is coming from negative to positive, then minimum, right? If it does not change its sign, then it is a point of inflection. Okay. And one more question, number 15. Show that the altitude of right circular cone, so we have a cone of maximum volume. Volume of the cone is 1/3 pi r square h. This is to be maximized. Okay. And this is inscribed. The cone is inscribed in a sphere of radius r. Radius of sphere is given. This you have to use. Is 4r/3. So we have already done question in which the cone was inscribed into a sphere and we had to prove something. So definitely you can go for this and prove it. Clear? So I have given you hint for some of the questions, right? So for homework part, what you are going to do, now 1 to 10 you have already done. So these are the questions that you are going to try. Okay. Also question number 11, you can try question number 17 and 18. So these 3 questions apart from this you can try, and these are the questions I have given you a hint of, most of them. So this is all for today. So for tomorrow, attempt these questions. Do come up with doubts. Please be careful in attempting these questions. You're going to get a question in board exams for 6 marks. Every time it comes for maxima and minima, 6-mark question. So for more videos, do not forget to subscribe the channel at Quark. Take care of yourself. Thank you.